Oh, welcome to another big news day. Okay, I have a question for you. What do the New Yorker, Jesse Jackson, and Ralph Nader all have in common? What they have in common is that each one has used race to bring attention to themselves and to, in some way, harm Barack Obama. Let's consider the hot topic of the day, the New Yorker. Now, you've probably seen this magazine cover pictured here. I'm a regular reader of the New Yorker, and I will tell you, my first reaction was, the first second was I thought, who is that? The second I thought, well, that's Barack and Michelle. And the third second I thought, okay, well, it's satirical, but then it's really stupid. And then by seconds 4, 5, 6, and so on, I was rather pissed off. Because I felt that the New Yorker was using race and depicting the Obamas in a negative way just to sell magazines, which also reinforces how someone out there who is uneducated regarding Barack Obama feels anyway. If you have doubts, take a look at this clip from CNN that I took when I was watching the Situation Room today.
When we showed people the New Yorker cover, they just didn't get it.
He reminds me of Islam, and she reminds me of a terrorist killer.
I mean, it's not a scary issue, but, you know, background's what they are.
But it ain't funny because I see a flag burning in the fireplace and a picture of, on the wall. I'm not sure who that is.
That person on the wall was Osama bin Laden. And that's my point. People don't know exactly who that image is in the picture, or they may not know exactly what the other images are precisely, but they get the overall picture of presenting the Obamas as essentially undesirable Americans who are in the Oval Office. That is what so many people are upset about, that kind of depiction. Now, the New Yorker's editor, David Remnick, states that this is simply satirical. In fact, before I continue, let's hear what he has to say. You're going to love this.
To the editor of the New Yorker magazine, David Remnick, he's joining us now live from New York. David, if you had to do it all over again, would you do this again, knowing the uproar this has caused?
Yes, and I would like to explain quite concisely what our intention was. The idea is to attack lies and misconceptions and distortions about the Obamas and their background and their politics.
Now, okay, time out right there. How the hell can anyone expect to attack perceptions about a person by presenting them before those people who have them anyway? You just can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't add up in terms of logic and how American culture works. If they really wanted to, they being the New Yorker, really wanted to make fun of those people who were mischaracterizing Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, you know what they should have done? They should have had a picture of people with Klan robes on, carrying up anti-Obama signs, running around the countryside with placards with signs saying Obama is this and Obama is that. That's what they should have done. That would have been a clearer message than what the New Yorker did. Let's hear what else this guy had.
David, this sort of feeds into the worst of the stereotypes of Barack Obama. Let me just ask the question, because there are going to be a lot of people who are not sophisticated New Yorker magazine readers who don't necessarily appreciate the satire, who will simply look at this and say, you know what, this couple, they're a bunch of terrorists.
I don't think so at all. I think you underestimate the intelligence of the American people, to be quite honest.
Frankly, I think he overestimates the intelligence of the American people. Look, we're in the middle of a culture war. There are people who take time to go online and learn about political issues, and there are those people who don't. There are some people who don't even know how to use the internet, and one of them happens to be representing the Republicans in the presidential race. We have a serious problem in this country with education. We complain about it. We say we don't fund education. And what we're seeing right now is a group of people, a large group of Americans, that have been so poorly educated that they don't want to sit down and learn about anything or anyone. And it's criminal. But they sit cheek by jowl with those of us who do want to sit down and learn about anything and anyone. And into this quagmire steps the New Yorker, fearful of losing its circulation to online media. And just like the New York Times, when they made that false allegation regarding John McCain and the lobbyists, and every other example that you and I can think of in this discussion, print media has went for the sensational. This is called, ladies and gentlemen, jumping the shark. In other words, what am I going to do, ladies and gentlemen, today to get your attention because you're not paying attention to me? Well, I'll jump the shark. Or in this case, I'll make this funny little, well, not so little cartoon, and I'll piss you off. Let's hear some more of this.
So, in fact, we're not even satirizing the Obamas. We're satirizing these rumors, these lies that have fed into what's called the politics of fear. And this is the image that Barry Blitt has put on the cover, and that I have responsibility for putting there. We've had many, many images in the past poking fun at many political situations. The Bush administration has been the butt of I don't know how many covers that we've published in the last 7 years.
Look, in all the years of the Bush administration, the New Yorker has never once portrayed George Bush as a Klansman or a terrorist. By contrast, it has done terrible harm to Senator Barack Obama and his wife, and I personally think the New Yorker should apologize. Now, why do I compare the New Yorker and its actions today with Jesse Jackson's actions of last week and Ralph Nader's? Well, let's take Jackson. Because Jesse, first of all, has been in the public eye for several generations. He knew that mic was on. He knew his words were going to be picked up. And he knew what the impact was going to be. So his plan was to say this under breath, then come out and say, well, I'm really so sorry. But then it's out there and someone in the news media says, oh my goodness, Senator Barack Obama doesn't have the proper attachment with the black community that he should. And Jesse Jackson gets his message out. Clever, sneaky, and is using race to get your attention. Let's take Ralph Nader. In fact, well, maybe let's not. I'm really upset with Ralph Nader because I've admired Ralph Nader since he went on a almost one-person crusade against General Motors Corvair in the late 60s, and which resulted in a very great and legendary book called Unsafe at Any Speed. But the Ralph Nader of common times is a person who's revealed himself to be, in my opinion, just a typical pseudo-intellectual person who happens to be white, who has closet racist views. Why would anyone say that a person like Senator Barack Obama was, quote, acting white? Does that mean that I'm acting white, as someone wrote in the commentary once on one of my videos? Think about what that means. It means that if I go out and get an education, if I go out and live the American life and pursue the American dream, it means that I'm not black? That's nuts. And if you think that, and if anybody you know thinks that, you're nuts, okay? And if you've got friends that think that, you should tell them they're nuts or disown them. Look, when you're born here, you don't have control over what you look like. I don't want control, but I'll tell you one thing. Being African American has allowed me to see the worst in a lot of people. And I'm delighted I am who I am because a lot of people I wouldn't know were I not African American. I'm saying that right here before you, okay? America needs to wake up to the intense racism that is still within us and change. The only constant in life is change. Unfortunately, when we lose loved ones, we're consistently reminded of that. But by changing, we can actually become better. I believe in America's capacity to improve. I think two extraordinary things are going to happen this year. First of all, the Cubs are going to win the World Series. They're already ahead in the National League West. Second, actually the entire National League. Second, Senator Barack Obama will be the next president of the United States. And with his presidency, the climate of racism as we have come to know it will end.